Imagine stepping out of a dark, concrete tunnel onto a suburban football field. You're a scrawny 12-year-old, and you are fully expecting this 80s movie montage moment of glory.
Right, like you've done all the backyard training.
Exactly. You're wearing the right colors, you're ready to make your dad proud, but then your eyes adjust to the blinding sun, and you realize you aren't facing a team of other 12-year-olds.
Oh, no.
Yeah, you are facing a literal wall of heavily muscled, fully mustachioed grown men.
Which is just, that's a terrifying image.
It really is. Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're unpacking an incredibly visceral stack of sources centered around a cinematic story script. It's titled Football, The Initiation.
And it comes paired with some deeply evocative visual archives, right?
It does. So our mission today is to take you on a storytelling walk-along through a 1980s Western Sydney childhood memory.
Yeah, a memory that starts out feeling like an innocent episode of The Wonder Years, but rapidly devolves into this brutal, intense, dramatic thriller.
Yeah, it's a wild ride.
It's a phenomenal piece of source material because it refuses to sanitize the past. Like, we're going to explore how lived physical trauma gets processed by a child's mind.
Right.
And how those moments of intense fear are eventually transmuted into, mythic campfire stories. We're looking at the intersection of dark humor, very real danger, and that universal, desperate quest for parental approval.
And to really pull you into this world, we're going to use the raw narration and the actual visual slides provided in the text. We want you to feel the texture of this suburban saga.
Absolutely.
The text immediately establishes that 1980s Western Sydney wasn't just a geographical location. It was an isolated kingdom with its own ruthless laws and a very specific cultural religion.
Yeah, and that religion, without a doubt, was the footy. Rugby league.
Yep.
The source describes this environment so vividly you can almost smell it. It wasn't just a game, it was the lifeblood of the community.
It really was.
Houses were draped in team colors, flags were hoisted on verandas, and the text notes how the air was thick with the smell of beer-battered BBQs, staining the food with the, quote, stench of fried yeast.
Wow, what a description.
Right. Game day was a total communal synchronization. The adults are drinking with every tackle on the television, and by the end of the broadcast, they are completely intoxicated.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because the text provides a visual that perfectly sets up the illusion these kids were living under.
Oh, the photograph.
Yeah, it's a faded, highly nostalgic photograph from the era starring our two main subjects, 7-year-old best friends, Podgy and Pickle.
Such classic nicknames.
Right, they're standing on the grass, arms thrown around each other with these massive, goofy smiles. In the background sits a baby blue FC Holden.
Which is such an iconic Australian car.
Exactly. For those unfamiliar, it just screams mid-century suburban nostalgia. The image literally has yellow text superimposed over it reading, starring Podgy and Pickle.
Like a sitcom.
Exactly like the opening credits of a lighthearted sitcom.
What's fascinating here is how it's a deliberate visual trick. It creates this warm, false sense of security for you as the viewer.
Yeah, it really does.
It establishes a baseline of pure innocence before the narrative just violently rips it away.
And the geography of their world reinforces this fantasy too. The source includes an incredibly detailed aerial archive recreation of their neighborhood in St. Mary's.
But it's labeled like a fantasy map.
Yes, exactly like a fantasy battlefield map.
Yeah.
You have 19 Palu crescents, the tree house is built by Dad, and right in the center sits a massive green circle labeled Bindi Oval, which the map explicitly warns is poisonous.
I love that detail.
It really shows how small and intensely focused their universe was.
And within that tiny universe, turning 12 and joining the local club, the Warriors, is framed as an unavoidable initiation rite.
Yeah, a total rite of passage.
It's their moment to step through the television screen and become the gladiators their fathers worship on the weekends.
But the way they prepare for this is pure delusion. It reads exactly like a training montage you'd see in the Goonies or the Sandlot Kids.
Oh, totally.
They're hustling odd jobs to pay for their uniforms. They spend hours playing tag on the concrete and tackle on the grass in their front yards. They're mimicking the legendary rugby players of the era, guys like Mal Meninga.
And they genuinely believe that by going through these motions, they're invincible.
Yeah, it's essentially a suburban cargo cult. They think if they wear the right gear and mimic the high knees they see on TV, the magic of victory will just naturally arrive.
Right, like they've mastered the aesthetic of the sport, but they have absolutely zero comprehension of its actual physics.
Exactly.
What's fascinating here is the psychological and sociological engine driving that montage. The text explicitly points out that their extreme dedication stems from a profound desire to overcome the, quote, crushing feeling of poverty, poor reading skills, and neglected diets.
Wow, so it's deep.
Yeah, these kids are looking for an escape hatch. They fantasize about being seen as true athletes, strong, attractive, proud. The sport is deeply intertwined with their fundamental sense of self-worth.
So it's not just a game.
Not at all. They aren't just trying to win a local match. They're trying to literally tackle their way out of their socioeconomic reality.
Which makes their complete lack of readiness so tragic.
It really does.
They genuinely believe they're about to run out onto the field for their very first matched game and just dominate.
But then game day arrives.
And the heroic montage music violently cuts out. The narrative takes us into the claustrophobic concrete locker room, and the adult world instantly begins to fail them.
Right off the bat.
Right off the bat, Podgy realizes he forgot his mouth guard. A wave of white panic washes over him. He goes to his coach, terrified.
And the coach is nervous too, right?
Oh, the coach is nervously biting his nails, sweating over the prospect of losing his first official game. And he just waves his hand dismissively and drops that classic Australian idiom, "You'll be right, mate."
Wow. Yeah, that phrase is doing a lot of heavy lifting there.
For sure.
Culturally, it often functions as a thought-terminating cliche. It's a way for the adult to instantly absolve themselves of responsibility.
Because he's stressed.
Exactly. The coach is prioritizing his own anxiety about the scoreboard over the basic, critical physical safety of a 12-year-old boy about to play a heavy contact sport with no helmets and no padding.
Wait, I have to stop you there and push back on this scene.
Okay, go ahead.
Because the coach then turns around and arbitrarily appoints his own nephew, Thomas, as the team captain.
Oh, right.
And Thomas is completely clueless. He's stammering, looking around like a deer in headlights. The coach just smirks and walks away.
Yeah, it's bad.
I understand the suburban bad being in over his head, but deliberately ignoring a missing mouth guard and putting a terrified kid in charge. Is this just pure 1980s negligence? Or is there a psychological mechanism at play where this adult literally cannot process the danger he's putting these children in?
It's a vital distinction to make. Based on the source material, it seems the overarching suburban football religion exerts a pressure that forces everyone into roles they are entirely unequipped for.
So the coach is trapped too.
Exactly. The coach is desperately trying to play the role of the hardened, stoic leader, but underneath, he is just as frightened of public failure as the boys are.
Huh.
That profound fear of losing face in front of the other fathers creates a massive cognitive dissonance. Admitting the kids are in danger would mean admitting he isn't in control, so his brain simply rejects the reality of the threat.
He just blocks it out.
He becomes recklessly dismissive to protect his own ego.
And that threat is not metaphorical. Which brings us to one of the most terrifying visual descriptions in the entire script.
The tunnel.
Yes, the perspective shifts low to the ground. You're looking out from the dark, cold claustrophobia of the tunnel, staring into the blinding, dusty sun of the field. And standing out there is a little wall of massive, heavily muscled men in blue and white uniforms.
The opposing team, referred to in the text as the FOBS.
The narrator is absolutely paralyzed. He notes that there is simply no way these guys are 12 years old.
Right.
The text vividly describes them with tree trunk legs, bulging muscles, and full mustaches. They are Islander men, pulled from government housing communities. And to these kids, they don't look like an opposing sports team. They look like grown, hardened warriors.
And it is crucial here to understand that we are experiencing this strictly through the intense, subjective reality of a terrified 12-year-old narrator.
Yeah, we have to keep that perspective in mind.
Definitely. The acronym FOB, Fresh Off the Boat, is a term heavily loaded with sociocultural context, often used to describe Pacific Islander communities in Australia. But the text isn't making an objective sociological documentary.
No, it's not.
It is anchoring us entirely in the raw, unedited panic of a child. Podgy doesn't see other kids from a different neighborhood. He equates them to frightening mythological figures.
Because he's terrified.
Right. He specifically compares them to a scary blue and white picture of a warrior in full war gear that hung in his house. His mind, unable to process the sheer physical mismatch, turns a local suburban match into an overwhelming David versus Goliath scenario.
Exactly. It's a landscape of pure dread. But the adults are pushing them forward so they can't turn back. The whistle blows, and here's where it gets really interesting. because the tension finally snaps and the story erupts into visceral, thriller-level violence.
The illusion is gone.
Any lingering illusion of their suburban heroism is instantly shattered.
Yeah, from the very first whistle, the Warriors are utterly decimated. The physics of the game immediately assert themselves over the fantasy.
Podgy gets the ball. He pushes off the grass, takes exactly one step, and runs full speed into what he vividly describes as a slab of cranium concrete.
Ouch.
The impact is catastrophic. It knocks out his front teeth and fractures his skull in two places, once from the front impact and once on the back of his head when the sheer combined weight of two grown men drives his skull into the dirt.
It's just brutal.
He is dragged to the bench, slipping into a dark, coma-like state. And the referee, the designated adult in charge of maintaining safety,
What does he do?
he just yells, "Held," and waves his hand to play on. No ambulance is called, no parents are rushed to the sideline, just play on.
The abdication of adult responsibility is total at this point.
It's unbelievable.
The system designed to protect these children has completely failed, leaving them isolated in a hyper-violent environment where the normal rules of society just no longer apply.
And the visual the text paints of this anarchy is stunning. It's a chaotic wide shot of the field. The massive opposing players have literally lifted the scrawny new captain, Thomas, high above their heads.
You're crowd surfing him.
Yes, they're crowd surfing this terrified 12-year-old to the sideline, and then they just toss him over the boundary line like, quote, a dead carcass off a mountainside.
Wow.
The Warriors are being flattened in every single scrum, trampled into the dirt by studded boots.
But the narrative then isolates on Pickle.
Yeah, Pickle.
He's just watched his best friend get his skull fractured, and he watches the adults do absolutely nothing about it.
So Pickle is consumed by what the text calls a Dragon Ball Z rage.
I love that phrase.
It's so perfect for a kid that age. He pumps himself full of adrenaline and goes on an absolute rampage. He starts dodging these giant players, tucked under their massive swinging arms.
Then it actually works for a second.
Incredibly, yeah. He actually starts scoring tries, which, for listeners unfamiliar with rugby league, means he is successfully outrunning the defense and physically grounding the ball in the end zone to score points.
It's a moment of incredible defiance.
But it feels desperately dangerous. Yeah. It's like a player stuck in a video game boss battle where they are entirely underleveled.
Right.
No matter how much heart Pickle has or how much anime-inspired rage is fueling him, he is fundamentally playing a completely different game than the physical titan standing across the line.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it's incredibly revealing to look at how the opposing team reacts to Pickle's defiance.
Oh, this part is dark.
The text nets that the larger players don't just brush off his success. They feel actively threatened and intimidated by this significantly smaller kid who is suddenly outrunning them.
They get mad.
They are embarrassed, and because of that embarrassment, their tactics undergo a severe psychological shift.
They stop playing a sport, and they start doling out punishment.
Precisely. By dodging them, Pickle disrupts the established social hierarchy of the field. The larger men begin experiencing cognitive dissonance. Being bested by a child threatens their own identity as the dominant warriors on the field.
That makes sense.
So their physical mass transforms from a passive advantage into an active tool for malicious retribution. The text explicitly states they move to playing with, quote, cruel intentions born of pure desperation. Pride dictates the escalating violence.
It's terrifying because it is no longer a physical mismatch. It has become deeply personal and malicious.
Yeah.
And that brings us to the climax of this thriller, which turns on a heartbreaking moment of psychological manipulation.
The fatal deception.
Yes. Pickle, after this incredible run of defiance, finally gets tackled hard into the dirt. As he's lying there, catching his breath, an opposing player walks over and extends a hand down to help him up.
Which seems nice.
Right. Now put yourself in Pickle's shoes. He is 12. He is clinging to that romantic ideal of sportsmanship he learned from the television.
Right.
He looks at that extended hand, and he sees mateship. He sees a rare moment of grace in the middle of a war zone. So he reaches out, grabs the opponent's hand, and starts to pull himself up, actually lifting his head to say thank you.
But it's a trap.
It's a trap.
The opponent utilizes that grip purely to generate leverage.
He violently pulls Pickle upward, creating massive forward momentum, and uses that exact moment to deliver a devastating, humongous punch straight into Pickle's exposed face.
Oh my God.
The impact breaks his nose instantly and fractures his skull in two separate places. Everything just goes black.
In that single sickening strike, the illusion of the brotherhood of the game is permanently, irreparably shattered. The fantasy of the 80s sports montage is dead.
which perfectly transitions us into the final, striking visual from the source material. We fade from the blinding, dusty, violent sun of the Oval into a cool, moody, blue-lit room at Westmead Children's Hospital.
Such a stark contrast.
The atmosphere is completely silent. Two kids, Podgy and Pickle, are sitting in wheelchairs side by side. Their heads are entirely wrapped in thick white bandages, and they are just staring blankly out the hospital window.
Yeah.
But sitting there in the foreground, right at the bottom of the frame, are a pair of bright yellow, unlaced rollerblades.
It is a stunning visual composition.
So what does this all mean? Look at the dark, tragic irony of their journey. These two kids endured the crushing weight of poverty, grueling backyard training regimens, and genuine physical terror on that field, all because they wanted to be gladiators.
Right.
They wanted to join this mythic brotherhood of men and make their fathers proud. But the only actual brotherhood they managed to find was laying broken, with fractured skulls, next to each other in a pediatric trauma ward.
It is tragic, but it perfectly encapsulates the profound resolution of their story. Because in that quiet hospital room, amidst the shattered egos and the concussion protocols, they make a solemn pact.
A very serious pact.
They swear to retire from football forever. No more tackling on the concrete, no more running on the grass, no more watching the gladiators on television. They completely excise the religion of their fathers from their lives.
But the brilliance of the source is that it doesn't end on a note of defeat.
Exactly. It notes that a few months later, once the bandages came off, they took up an entirely new hobby.
Rollerblading.
Rollerblading, and their explicitly stated reason for this pivot, mainly just to impress girls.
I mean, that detail is just incredible. It completely reframes the trauma.
It demonstrates the profound, almost baffling resilience of the childhood psyche. These boys survived a massive, violently traumatic event where the entire adult world completely abandoned its duty to protect them. But instead of letting that trauma permanently define or break them, their minds instinctively pivot to protect their egos. They trade those heavy, blood-soaked gladiatorial dreams for a completely new, wonderfully innocent phase of adolescence.
It's so wholesome.
Rollerblading to impress girls is a comedically simple goal, but it firmly closes the heavy door on their childhood innocence and safely opens the door to being a teenager.
It is a phenomenal defense mechanism. And this entire collection of sources, the deeply subjective script, the vintage fading photos, the cinematic maps and slides, it brilliantly captures how intense, how high stakes, and how much like a thriller childhood actually feels when you're living inside of it.
Because when you're a kid, the stakes always feel life or death.
But in this specific instance, the negligence of the adults made it dangerously bordered on reality.
And while you, listening right now, might never have faced a literal wall of massive rugby players charging out of a concrete tunnel, the emotional core of this story is incredibly universal.
Everyone can relate to it on some level.
Everyone has a specific childhood memory where the adult world fundamentally failed to protect them, where the systems or the people that were supposed to keep you safe just waved a dismissive hand, looked the other way, and told you, "You'll be right, mate."
Yeah.
Everyone has had to face their own overwhelming monsters on the playground and come into chilling realization that the cavalry simply wasn't coming.
We all have those moments where the picture frame of nostalgia breaks, and we are forced to look at the terrifying reality of what actually happened.
For sure.
Which leaves us with a final thought for you to mull over as we wrap up today. We started this deep dive by talking about how we categorize our memories and how nostalgia acts as a psychological shield.
Right.
The real insight here isn't just that the 1980s were a more dangerous time to be a kid. It's that the narrator of this story framed this memory as a mythic battle against literal titans, because it is emotionally much safer to believe you were defeated by Goliath than to accept that the adults in your life put you in senseless, severe physical danger.
Yeah, it's a profound realization.
So when you look back at your own most traumatic or intense childhood memories, let me rephrase that. When you look back at your own intense childhood moments, how much of your own history have you rewritten in your mind as a mythic, cinematic epic just to make sense of the pain?
It's a question that really forces you to re-examine the stories you tell yourself.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Go dig out those old photographs and we'll catch you on the next one.